What's poppin'? Welcome back to Midwest World. Welcome back to Midwest World, man. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the content, Like I said in the post before, I see the channel growing a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Quicker than I expected, so I would like to say I appreciate everybody coming through, checking out the content, showing love, man. I greatly appreciate it, man. Was contemplating on putting out or making a video game channel, man, for a couple years, man. But I'm glad I did. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I did. And like I said, unlimited content, man. Unlimited content is very seldom. It's very seldom you're not gonna get daily posts here. It's seldom. Like I said, my goal is to, put up daily posts, man. I want it to be an official gaming channel, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's just that simple. So I appreciate everybody sliding through, man. Now, topic at hand. All the Nintendo Switch 2 leaks, right? And then, will they take? Well, they I think they still, in my opinion, I think they still running the handheld game, even with all these mini PCs, handheld PCs being out. Now, mind you, if you know, handheld PCs, handheld gaming PCs been around, honestly, you know what I mean? The first one I ever seen was GPD Win. I forgot which one it was, but it looks a lot like a Vita, you know what I'm saying? Or it's like the size of a Vita in a sense, you know what I mean? With the screen sliding up and then you got your keyboard like in the middle, you know what I mean? Now, with that, right, the reason why I never went and got one of those is because I thought it was like, yeah, right, it's not gonna run that good. You know what I'm saying? This was a long time ago though, well before the Steam Deck ever came out, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm about to buy one of these things like $1,200 and how am I gonna, you know what I mean? I just didn't believe you could run certain PC games on that small of a device. You know what I'm saying? But now with the way things is optimized and things like that now, and then they're able to pack a lot of power in these small devices, I guess that's possible. Obviously, because you see it with the Steam Deck, you know what I mean? And the AMNEO and all that good stuff. There's so many different devices, man. There's Legion Goals, you know what I mean? There's so many different devices now. And let's be honest. We can be honest about this. These later models, especially a Legion Go or the Legion, you know what I mean? They seen what the Switch did. It was like, okay, let's get to it. You know what I'm saying? And now you got all these handheld PCs coming out that's looking like a Switch. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I mean? And look, this Nintendo, they always been on top when it comes to the handheld market. Like there have not been anyone to rival them at all. Even when you had PSPs and all that, I didn't see. Now, mind you, now I did have the Vita. I had the Vita. I had the regular PSP. I love the PSP. I had the first PSP that came out, the 3000, and then I also had I think it was called the PSP Go. You know what I mean? The small one. That's the one I'm talking about where that GPD Win like the PSP. I think the PSP Go. You know what I mean? I love that system. You know what I'm saying? But I rocked with PSP. I thought PSP was fire. It had the same layout as the PS3. You know what I'm saying? I had all my musical. And I loved the PSP was fire, all right? But I still don't think it did numbers like the DS and all that. You know what I mean? So Nintendo's niche is handhelds, man. Like consoles, they're fine, but what they did with the Switch, man, like reports say, I believe it's the second highest selling console ever behind the PS2, or it passed it. I don't know. It's one of the other. I don't have an article right in front of me because I'm driving, but either way it goes, it's up there like that. You know what I mean? And I'm not surprised. Everywhere I go, I see somebody with a Switch. Everywhere I go, adults, kids, it don't matter. I see a lot of people with Switches, man. Like, you know what I mean? So the Switch, it's one of them things to where it's like, it's the perfect, it gives you everything you need. You know what I mean? It's simple. All you gotta do is turn it on. Now, the only problem with the Switch, I would say, is that, some of these games, you don't got the full game on the cartridge, which to me makes no sense. It just don't. I mean, from what I understand, is production costs, and I guess it's really expensive to get those cartridges that have the memory capacity to be able to fit an entire, game on there, right? That has a lot of gigs, you know what I mean? Because y'all know I love 2K. 2K is like close to 70 gigs, right? On the or the latest one, you know what I mean? On the Nintendo Switch. But if you get the cartridge, you only, 6 gigabytes of space, and then you download the rest of the game. It's almost like this joint is just an online check. You know what I mean? So why would I even get the cartridge if I have to download, like 80%, 85% of the game now? You know what I mean? It's pointless even doing something like that. So you might as well just get the download. And that's why I did on Black Friday. I just, I sold my cartridge, and then once I sold the cartridge, I had enough to just get the Black Friday deal. Just had to download, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't get it. Now, The Witcher, they had the full game on the cartridge. Most of those, like, Sonic games and things like that, full game. Zelda is full. You know what I mean? I believe, I got the digital version of Zelda. But I believe that's, you get what I'm saying, though. So that's the only knock I have with the Switch. And then those Joy-Cons. But the way they have it now, you don't have to deal with Joy-Cons. You know what I mean? You do not have to even deal with Joy-Cons. They have so many different alternate options. That's dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, I deal with crack. You know what I'm saying? So I like crack. I have 3 of their controller grips. I don't have the Nitro Deck Plus and nothing. I have the regular Nitro Decks. You know what I'm saying? And I'm perfectly fine with it. I have the Super Nintendo looking color. I have a black one. I have the transparent red one. You know what I mean? And I love those. Listen. Is it perfect? No. I think the D-pad needs some work. But outside of that, I love it. All right? I was using the Hori split pads before that. You know what I mean? They had bigger ones and they had thin ones. I had the Sonic Hori split pads. Then I had the red ones, black ones, and then I had the smaller Hori split pads, the red ones, and then it was like a maroon red, and then like I believe I had like some white and green ones, and I sometimes give them away or sell them, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So, but yeah, the Switch, that was, I'm not gonna say a perfect console. It's one of my favorite consoles ever. The Switch, I love the Switch. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even care about the graphics being what they are, because it's perfectly fine for me. You know what I'm saying? Even playing like games like 2K, and I mentioned 2K because that's third party. You know what I'm saying? We already know Nintendo Switch first party games run immaculate. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, Nintendo has some of the best first party games of all time. We know that. You know what I mean? So no need to mention them. You know what I mean? But as far as like playing games like Doom or NBA 2K, The Witcher, and things like that, on the Switch, I have no problem playing it on the screen. It plays just fine. I don't mind the 30 frames. To be able to play games like that on a handheld device with ease, listen, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I come from the era of Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Color. You know what I mean? Game Boy Advance, very underrated handheld. Game Boy Advance was fire, okay? Game Boy Advance was fire. And I believe, was it a DSi, where you could play Game Boy Advance games in it? You know what I'm saying? It was one of those models. You know what I'm saying? I think it was because I gave my sister it was a DSi. I know it was either DS or DSi. That was probably that combo right there. The DSi, whichever one, where you was able to play Game Boy Advance games with that, man, that was the illest handheld. Man, listen. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man. My sister still got that to this day. That handheld was fire, all right? I'm still surprised they didn't release the Super Mario 64 on the Switch. Super Mario 64 DS on the Switch, because that game looked better than the N64 version, and you had extra characters. You had like pretty much everybody in there you could play as, like Luigi, Wario, Yoshi. You can play as all of them up in there. So I'm surprised they didn't re-release that. You know what I'm saying, on the Switch. I'm wondering how come y'all didn't drop this? They put it in that little pack, you know what I'm saying, where you got Galaxy, Sunshine, and Mario 64. But I'm like, man, y'all could have, instead of that Mario 64, y'all could have gave us the DS version. You know what I'm saying? That would have made more sense. But hey, it is what it is. But yeah, like the Switch, man, like I don't think anyone is ever gonna knock them off the top of the mountain when it comes to handhelds. The Steam Deck though, to me, I think introduced a lot of people to PC gaming, casuals. And I think that, what the Steam Deck did, it did it to me, to be honest, because when it comes to PC gaming, right? I've PC gamed before over a friend's house and things like that. I know I played, let me see, when I was in Alabama, I had Madden 01 on the computer. But mind you, you can run that thing on that was different. All you had, because those, you buy discs and install it and then play it. You didn't have to log into a Steam and nothing like that, you know what I mean? So, you can play certain games on just a regular computer if you got the disc. Depending on the specs of the computer, you can just run it, off the disc. Just fine, you just install it. It's an icon on your desk, on your desktop, you just play it, you know what I mean? So when I was living in Alabama, you know what I mean? When I was living in Alabama, I had played Madden 01 on the PC. And then I played Grand Theft Auto 3 on the PC. You know what I'm saying? Those are only two games I played on the PC as a kid. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like Steam and everything like that, Steam is what it is. Steam had the best sales. All right, it's just you'll get some cold games for $4. You know what I'm saying? AAA and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had the best sales. You got access to so many different games on Steam. It's crazy. You know what I mean? So Steam, to me, like, listen, any and everything is on there. You know what I mean? So Steam, when they came out with the Steam Deck, I think that introduced casuals to PC gaming, you know what I mean? And made it a little more easier, actually a lot more easier to actually get into PC gaming. You still have certain issues. That's why I say I can't put the Steam Deck above a Switch, due to the fact you got games, you still got to deal with launchers. Like Grand Theft Auto runs perfectly fine on Steam Deck, even Red Dead Redemption and stuff like that. But them launchers, you know what I mean? You can't even really play Madden on there. You have to go through installing Windows and things like that to be able to run it through EA's launcher. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, and then it don't run that great either on top of that on Steam Deck. So it's like, it's still a headache running certain games. You want to play some Watch Dogs, you got a launcher. Assassin's Creed, you got a launcher. You know what I'm saying? So you still got certain issues when it comes to running certain games. Then, certain settings. You want to make sure, you know what I mean? You got to tweak certain settings to make sure it run on your hardware. You know what I mean? And some people don't want to go through all of that. But they did make it, easily accessible as far as navigating. As far as they made it as they made it console as console-like as they could, and they did a great job, Valve, with how they put that together. You know what I'm saying? So I think Steam Deck, what they did with the Steam Deck, they introduced a lot of people to PC gaming, and that'll probably, if there's some people that got introduced to it through the handheld like that, they might get them a rig, a big PC rig now, you know what I mean, and computer game, because honestly, I'm not gonna lie, you know what I mean? Back in the days, those computer guys, you get on my nerves, man. They'll talk crazy about the console, like, you guys, you guys don't know nothing about graphics, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, they'll go, man, listen. I'm like, listen, I just want to play the game, fam. No, you gotta play it on PC because I especially Call of Duty, you know what I mean? So I'm like, look, I don't care nothing about none of that. But now I see what they see. You know what I'm saying? The way the PC is, if you got the proper PC and the proper equipment, man, I don't see that's the best way to game. If you got the proper stuff, though. If you don't, then I guess you'll want to rock with the console. But you can use whatever controller you want. You know what I'm saying? They have the layouts for those controllers. You know what I mean? The game, depending on your graphics card, is going to run the best on the PC. You're going to get the best visual output, all that good stuff. You just have to put the money into it. You know what I'm saying? To get that to happen. Then you don't have to just play the modern stuff. You could go all the way back in the days with it, you know what I'm saying, and still play those games. So you don't have to be swapping consoles and all. So I definitely get it, you know what I'm saying? So I understand why, you know, the PC is pretty much the king of gaming. Where you want to, that's the top dog as far as like, okay, this is where you go for all your games here, you know what I'm saying, with the optimal experience. But, you know, as far as like, you know, the handhelds and things like that, I don't think that Valve is going to knock down Switch or Nintendo at all. I don't see that, even though I've been seeing more Steam Decks in the public. When I was on vacation, I seen more Steam Decks in the public, you know what I'm saying? I seen a couple cats with the OLED, you know what I mean? I know it's the OLED because of the case they had, you know what I mean? It's the OLED case. You know what I mean? Because they got like that orange, you know what I mean, design on there. I seen a couple Steam Decks, you know, but they was adults. So, you know, I personally, if I had a kid, I wouldn't get my kid a Steam Deck. You know what I'm saying? I would still get them a Switch because like I said, Steam Deck, it just seems to, you gotta, it's not that simple to run games exactly. Certain games. You got some that just boot right up, you know what I'm saying? Fresh out. As soon as you download, boom, you good to go, you know what I'm saying? But it's not as simple as the Switch, you know what I mean? So, I mean, the Switch is made for everybody. I feel like the Steam Deck is geared towards more so adults. You understand what I'm saying? So, I don't know if Valve is going to crack the Switch's success, but I love the Steam Deck. I don't like those handheld PCs. That's a niche market over there. I mean, that right there, you gotta really like be into, like, because they're expensive. At minimum, you spending like $700, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the cheapest option is the Steam Deck. You know what I mean? And Valve makes so much money. You know what I'm saying? They probably can just like, look, we can put out this for this price. You know what I mean? And still be cool and make dough because, you know, so many people is on Steam and things like that. You know what I mean? Like Valve, they straight. Now other companies like A&E and things like that, you know what I mean? And Asus ROG Ally and things like that, you know, they have to price their stuff crazy. You know what I mean? Well, the ROG Ally, I think it starts at like, I believe $699, but that's the entry level price. That's the cheapest you get. Once you're looking at the A&E and all that, man, you're looking at $1,200 and all this. Man, the prices is kind of crazy, man. So I don't think a parent is gonna get a kid that. It's too expensive. And then, you know what I mean, it's not that simple to pick up and play. You know what I'm saying? And then, to be honest, you go on the Valve, man. You go on the Steam, you got some access to some crazy games. I know y'all have seen it, man. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know if there's a parental blockage there. I gotta check. But you can access some crazy stuff, man. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? So, but with all these Switch 2 leaks, announcement got to be coming soon because you know Nintendo don't play that. They don't play that. They've been letting it happen. Man, listen, you know, it's building up anticipation and hype for the console, even though I don't think you need any hype, you know what I'm saying? Because the Switch was that official. So you come out with a Switch 2 device and you just upgrade that hardware. And from what I understand, and reports are saying, it's supposed to be pretty much like a PS4. And the dock is supposed to be like PS4 Pro. To have that on a handheld is fire. And with that much power, you know Nintendo can make... Listen, To have that on the go and have it as simple as pickup, like, making it as simple to play as the Switch with that type of power, dog, like, third-party companies can definitely, downgrade their games to PS4 level Pro to run on the handheld PS4, man. Like, let's be serious, because the Switch, that was like, it was more powerful than 360. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like it was. Listen, the Switch was fire still to me, honestly. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like PS4 level or nothing like that. You know what I mean? It wasn't PS4. It was like it was more powerful than 360, but less powerful than it. You know what I mean? So to have PS4, capabilities and things like that, and allegedly PS4 Pro capabilities and a handheld, man, listen, I'm not complaining about that. I'm not gonna complain about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not complaining about that at all, man, because once you start playing the game, man, you're not even thinking about that. Once you really get into it, once you into a dope game, you're not really worried about the frames. You're not really worried about the graphics all too heavy. You worried about the game. You know what I'm saying? And what's going on in the, so I think that's perfectly fine for a handheld. Mind you, now I understand that there's people not from my era, right? They came up, you know what I mean? Their entry probably was PSP or something, you know what I mean? So, or even so be it, their entry was the Switch. So they don't know nothing about Game Boy. They don't know nothing about that. Game Boy Advance, they don't know nothing about that. They don't know nothing about putting in the Duracell batteries and all that, you know what I'm saying? They don't know nothing about that, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want you to know about that, because even though it was fun times, man, to be able to recharge your handheld is amazing. You know what I'm saying? To have to get batteries and all that mess, and and they don't even last that long on top of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are some times I wouldn't wish upon people, you know what I mean? But, I'm fine with the Switch. I'm fine with the Steam Deck. Just to have those type of capabilities in a handheld, I never thought could happen, man. So, call me whatever, but I'm happy with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no complaints about the Switch and those graphics, man. I have no complaints. So to have PS4/PS4 Pro style graphics on the go, that just means, like, 2K gonna run, this is my thoughts, right? 2K gonna run 60 frames and have cloth physics. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know if it'll be like, if they upgrade to that, I'm hoping you would get a downgraded version of the next gen version on a serious note. Because that's pretty much how it runs on the Steam Deck, if you think about it. If you play 2K25 on the Steam Deck, right, you gotta turn off the cloth physics, you know what I'm saying? And you have them certain settings set up. It's kind of like, it's a downgraded version of what's on the next gen. You know what I'm saying? It runs close to 60. You know what I mean? I would say it's probably in the 50-ish range. You know what I mean? You can lock it at 30 though. You know what I'm saying? But, you lock it at 30, you probably will get a better, more stable experience. But I leave it at 60. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, I mean, that's a downgraded version. So if we could get that type of version on a Switch too, say less, man. Say less. You know what I mean? Like, say less. You know what I mean? And you already know the third-party companies, man, they gonna be able to, with that type of power on the Switch, they'll be able to make something happen to put their game on the Switch. Because they was able to do some things with, to be able to put The Witcher and Doom and all that on the Switch, man. They'll be able to fit certain things on the Switch too. They'll be able to do it, trust me, because some games that fit on the Switch too, or the Switch, I'm like, man, that's crazy how that runs. And like I said, The Witcher 2 runs surprisingly well, man. You got the full game there, and I'm still going through that game. That game is amazing too, by the way. Amazing. Fire, you know what I'm saying? One of the greatest games I ever played, man. That game is dope, you know what I mean? Now, I'm not that great at it, I've never been that great at those type of games, those Skyrim games and all that, but The Witcher, that game was dope. That game is, man, listen, that's an amazing product. I'm saying, like, I ain't gonna lie. You know, you get lost into the world when you playing it, man. Like, whenever you have a game that good to where you get sucked into the world, man, like, let me see, the last time I felt that way was when, I think it was Pokemon Blue I had on the Game Boy. And I was playing that game. I had a strategy guide. Did I have I think I had a strategy guide with that, man. And I was playing that game at home because my homeboy, he gave me a Game Boy. You know what I'm saying? He gave me a Game Boy. I had a transparent, it was clear, transparent Game Boy Pocket, I believe. Man, I played that game and I was lost into that game, man. I love that game, Pokemon Blue. And I'm not even big into Pokemon, but I was playing it. I felt like I was in the world, man. You know what I'm saying? I haven't felt like that since that game. You know what I'm saying? So when I was playing The Witcher, I'm like, yo, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? And GTA 5 is one of the greatest games I ever played. I beat that game like twice. You know what I'm saying? I might beat it again for the channel because I didn't beat it on the original. Did I beat it for the series yet? No, I beat it on Xbox One. I didn't beat it on the series yet. But, you know, I don't know why they keep re-releasing that game. But, you know, I get it for the PS5 with haptic feedback and all that, but I might just run through it for the PS5 and beat it again for the PS5 and all that. But, you know, they milking that game like they was doing San Andreas, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't think once the Switch 2 come out, they still at the top. I'm not even gonna say reclaim their position. That's the wrong phrase to say. But Valve, listen, as long as I'm gonna say this, if Valve, because you can only get the Steam Deck off their website too. On top of that, right? So you can't. No, GameStop actually sells Steam Decks now. Actually, you know what I'm saying? Refurbished, I believe. You know, look it up on the website. You can actually buy a Steam Deck from GameStop. But if they make it more widely available, easier to buy, if they were somehow able to do away with launchers and make it just to where you just start the game up, no problems, I think they can climb up and you know, be rivaling the Switch 2. I do believe that. But, you know, it'll have to be more so, you know, you got to be able to get it out the store. You got to be able to get it out the store, make it easily purchasable, you know what I'm saying? Things like that, not just with Valve, you know what I mean? You got to be able to, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So if they was able to, you know, do it like that, I think that they could rival Nintendo, you know what I'm saying? More so, you know, but I don't think they're going to be able to compete like that because Nintendo, they run the handheld market. You know, that's their space. And somebody else, everybody else coming in is just guests in that market. You know, handheld space is Nintendo's house. We know that. You know what I'm saying? We all know that. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I do think that Valve is already doing a great job. I think if they come out with another Steam Deck, you know what I'm saying? And whatever the case is, with more power and things like that, and then they do away with launchers and things like that and make it more easier to play out the box, I think they'll be able to compete, man. They'll be able to compete. It's just Nintendo is Nintendo. They've been around since the 80s, man. You're not gonna be able to just come through and knock them off like that. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a difficult task, especially in the handheld space. All right. So make sure you like, subscribe, share the content. I really appreciate it from everybody. Peace.